Lynn Philpot's sneakers slapped against the cobblestones of Charleston's Market Street, her breath coming in short bursts as she navigated the dense crowd of holiday shoppers. It was 3:15 p.m. She was late. Again. The frantic buzz of the airport's holiday madness was nothing compared to the stress mounting in her mind. She had a plan to make it to Savannah by 6 p.m., just in time for her mother's Christmas dinner prep. But plans had a way of going wrong lately. Her job as an emergency room nurse meant long hours and little sleep. But this was different. This year, her mother's health had taken a turn for the worse, and Led had barely seen her family, consumed by work and the weight of growing bills. Today, she was determined to make it home. She'd catch the rental car, drive like hell, and show up just before dinner, like nothing had changed. As she arrived at the baggage claim, the usual chaos of luggage whirring down the conveyor belt greeted her.
Come on, where is
She
it?
scanned the moving sea of black
That one.
suitcases,
I need to
each
find
one
it.
blending into the next. Her eyes frantically searched for the one her mother had insisted on. A plain black bag, but with a distinct burgundy ribbon tied to the handle. It wasn't just a fashion statement, it was her mother's way of making sure nothing got lost. There it was. Her heart skipped a beat as she lunged for the suitcase, nearly knocking over the person next to her. In her mind, she was already on the road, counting down the hours till she was sitting around the dinner table with her family. But as she pulled the bag towards her, something didn't feel right. The weight was off. It was heavier than she remembered. She frowned, setting the bag down on a nearby bench. The black exterior, the burgundy ribbon, everything looked the same, but the bag was not hers. She crouched to read the Luggage tag. Charles Mchon, 843-555-0147, Charleston, SC. Her stomach sank. This wasn't her suitcase. She spun around, searching for her own bag, but the carousel was nearly empty now. A few forgotten bags rolled slowly toward the end. Panic gripped her. Someone had taken her bag, and now she was stuck with someone else's. She felt the pressure of time slipping away. Her mother needed her, and now everything was falling apart. If this story already has you on the edge of your seat, hit subscribe and like. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Stick around, it's gonna be a ride. Lynn had learned long ago to move fast through life. Whether it was surviving the high-speed pace of the ER or juggling the demands of her personal life, she was always running. But no matter how fast she moved, it felt like she couldn't outrun the mounting responsibilities that threatened to crush her. Her mother's medical bills, a mortgage on her small house, and a car that constantly needed repairs all loomed large in her mind. Still, she managed to keep going. After all, that's what her mother had taught her. You didn't get to quit. You didn't get to stop caring. No matter how tired you were, you showed up. But today, as she stood holding someone else's suitcase, she felt like she was finally unraveling. Her phone buzzed in her hand, and she looked down at the screen, still holding the wrong bag. Her heart raced. The number on the tag was right there, staring at her. Hesitantly, she dialed. The phone rang 4 times before a deep, gravelly voice answered. Hello? Hi, is this Charles Mchon? Yeah? Who's this? I think I have your suitcase, she said, her voice shaking. And I'm pretty sure you have mine. It has a black exterior and a burgundy ribbon. A brief pause, then the voice on the other end softened. Looks like we have a problem. Charles had been standing in his mother's kitchen, sorting through papers when his phone buzzed. He almost ignored it, lost in the logistics of a big project for the Tokyo real estate market. But the local area code caught his attention, and something, perhaps fate, pulled his eyes to the screen. He answered without much hope, expecting some telemarketer or a wrong number. But hearing her voice, the woman on the other end of the line, threw him into a momentary pause. Where are you? He asked, not quite realizing how badly he needed to make this connection. I'm still at baggage claim, about to file a report, but thought I'd try calling first, she replied, her voice flustered. I'll meet you there, he said before she could protest. Lynn found herself sitting in a small coffee shop near security, clutching the wrong suitcase like it was a lifeline. She couldn't help but trace the burgundy ribbon with her finger, wondering how she could have messed up so badly. The weight of the situation felt heavier than the bag itself. Then, through the door, he walked in. Charles Mchon, tall with sandy brown hair styled perfectly, wearing a carchole peacoat over a crisp sweater. He moved through the coffee shop like someone who owned the world, and Lynn suddenly felt out of place in her travel clothes, frizzy hair, and lack of makeup. Charles stopped when his eyes met hers. For a brief moment they locked in silent recognition, and then a slow smile spread across his face as he made his way over. "Lynn Philpot," he said, offering his hand. The other person with questionable luggage identification skills. Lynn couldn't help but laugh, feeling her anxiety fade slightly in the warmth of his smile. She shook his hand, feeling the strength in his grip. "Charles Mchon," he added, taking a seat across from her. The connection between them was immediate, but there was something more beneath the surface, something they both carried with them but hadn't yet revealed. "So you live in Charleston?" she asked, hoping to steer the conversation away from awkwardness. "Born and raised," he replied, with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "What about you?" "Atlanta. My parents still live in Savannah. They're disgustingly in love," she said with a soft laugh. But the truth hung behind her words, unspoken. Her last engagement had ended 6 weeks before the wedding. Derek had walked away, leaving her questioning if love like her parents was even possible anymore. If you're starting to feel the sparks fly, I know you're hooked. Hit subscribe and like right now. You're about to see where this goes. As they continued talking, the conversation took a more personal turn. Charles shared a piece of his heart that shocked Lynn. "I lost my father 6 years ago," he said quietly, his voice laced with grief. "He was demanding, but good. He built everything I have now." Lynn saw the sadness in his eyes, the same sadness she carried with her, though she had no words for it. She reached across the table, placing a gentle hand on his. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I don't know if I'll ever live up to what he wanted," he admitted, looking away. "I don't know if I'll ever feel his approval." Lynn recognized that doubt. She felt it too. "You're living up to what he wanted more than you know," she said softly, her voice unwavering. "You've built something. It's more than enough." For a moment, Charles stared at her, like he was seeing something he hadn't realized was there. If this story resonated with you, if you felt the love, the transformation, and the emotional depth, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you stories just like this. Stay tuned for more life-changing moments. The next morning, after a night of uncertainty and emotional confrontation, both Lynn and Charles faced a decision. They could keep running from their fears, hiding from the past, or they could take the leap together. By the time Christmas dinner came around, they had both changed. For the first time in years, Lynn felt hopeful, not just for herself, but for the possibility of love again. And Charles? He was finally ready to move forward, letting go of the ghosts of his past. As they sat together, watching the sunset over the Savannah skyline, Charles squeezed Lynn's hand. The baggage they had both carried for so long was lighter now. They had each other, and that, for the first time in a long time, was enough. If this story resonated with you, if you felt the love, the transformation, and the emotional depth, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you stories just like this. Stay tuned for more life-changing moments.